Joining me next is Kevin Kane, the president of the Pelican Institute for Public Policy in New Orleans, here to talk about Louisiana school reforms. Welcome, Mr. Kane.
Good afternoon.
So, some legislation passed recently in Louisiana. What can you tell us about the law? I know it concerned not only school voucher, but also charter school and some, I believe, some teacher tenure reform as well, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. There were really a number of education reforms that were put together, packaged into, there were really two pieces of legislation. One that primarily addressed tenure reform, the other one that addressed school choice, including vouchers, charters, online learning. The governor's strategy going into the legislative session was, rather than try to get a dozen different bills passed, they put a lot of these different reforms together into these two big bills, both of which passed this past Thursday. And it was a great win for the governor, and I think for the whole state.
Did Governor Jindal, a Republican, we should tell people, did he campaign on this? Did he make this a priority? Was he leading the fight, or did it come out of the legislature?
No, he's been very strong on this issue. He really, since coming into office, I mean, he came in not too long after Hurricane Katrina, and we had already seen a very changed New Orleans school system here post-Katrina, where we went to this charter school system where now the vast majority of students in New Orleans are attending public charter schools. So education reform has been sort of a big issue here in Louisiana for a number of years now. Jindal has continued to expand the role of charter schools. He also introduced a voucher program just limited to New Orleans, which has been in effect for about 3 years now. So the education reform's probably been his #1 issue since coming into office.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the voucher reform. I mean, who qualifies? You said there was already a program in New Orleans, and this expands it statewide. And my understanding is, when all is said and done, it could be the largest state voucher program in the country, correct?
Yeah, it's eligible to, well, the state has a program where schools are graded. Mm-hmm. So students attending schools that have been graded C, D, or F, whose family income levels are 250% above poverty level and below, are eligible. So that's a majority of public school students in Louisiana. It could probably be about 250,000 or so students around the state who will be eligible to receive vouchers. So it is a very broad program.
And what about the teacher tenure reforms? What do those do?
Basically, the teacher, in addition to the schools being assigned grades, teachers are now also graded. What the state has done is it looks at whether teachers are doing a good job at getting their students to improve at an acceptable level each year. And so the teachers who are at the bottom 10% of the state's grading system will lose their tenure and can be fired. So that's, as you can imagine, the teachers' unions were not real keen on that, and it was a very controversial issue. But both the tenure reform and the vouchers were supported by a very broad range of people. I think that was one of the key factors in their success.
Well, I mean, why do you think that is? I mean, you know that this fight is played out across the country in many states. I mean, how did Jindal have a legislature that was accommodating? I don't know what the breakdown is there, Democrat and Republicans. Could he just ram this through, or did he just win over opponents? And where did the opposition come from? Typically, it is the teachers' unions, as you mentioned. Were there others? Did Democrats oppose this?
Well, I mean, a majority of Democrats were voted against, but a number voted for. Mm-hmm. Of course, New Orleans is a Democrat city, not a Republican one, and most people here are very happy with the progress we've had with the charter schools. So it is, and of course, on the other side of that, you've got some suburban Republicans who are less enthusiastic about vouchers, and in some of the suburban, white suburban districts, where the schools and the unions and the school boards are very popular. So it was kind of interesting. I mean, for one thing, Louisiana has always been at the bottom or close to the bottom by any measure, Louisiana is one of the worst states for education. So I think people kind of recognize if we're going to compete with states like Texas and Florida on either side of us, which have experienced much more economic growth than we have, we need to improve our schools. So I think people see the connection between education and long-term economic development. In fact, the business community was absolutely key in getting these reforms through. We've seen enormous support from both individual business leaders who are just passionate about this issue and State Chamber of Commerce and organizations that I've seen in other states are often kind of lukewarm on education reform. Were really ferocious supporters of education reform here in Louisiana.